Steve and I just got back from Hollywood, and like I said, it was just tremendous. Just tremendous what God is doing there. And so we got 3 days to train and equip actors and producers and people that are in the industry that are set apart for 5 weeks for training. And so it was at Radiance, which is a prayer room right on Sunset Boulevard, which used to be, before it was a prayer room, it was a porn shop. It was a porn studio. Porn studio. And so they came and God just strategically came, and that shut down, and they came in and they took it over with the love of God. And it is the most beautiful, stunning place. And y'all are going to go visit there someday. Everyone's got to go and visit that prayer room because it's so special. It's beautiful. They not only have prayer and worship going, they have art watches and justice watches where they pray for justice issues all over the world, and they pray for people in the industry, and they lift up Hollywood, declaring the goodness of God over Hollywood and for God to come in and invade the city, in the industry, so it's powerful. It's also now has an art gallery and also a recording studio. State of the art. It's getting the attention of people in the industry. Come on. And so people, you could probably share a little bit more that way. But I want to, why don't you share a little bit about what they shared with you about the studio?
Yeah, so their studio is right on Sunset Boulevard, the Sunset Strip, which is like the place where a lot of bands get recognized and discovered. There's the Whiskey A Go Go, the Roxy, all of these major clubs are right like on the same block that they're on. And so God told them to build this state-of-the-art studio, and they had one of the top studio builders actually build the studio. He designed it, built it, and so with who he is within the industry, as well as the girl that's actually the one that's overseeing the producing director business person, Kristen, who has been involved in the music industry for years, got radically saved. She went through the launch that we were just teaching at 2 years ago, got radically wrecked by God, and has been serving God wholeheartedly. Felt that the Lord said that she's supposed to actually be the one that runs the studio there. So she's got all these connections where, like major people within the industry are now coming to this studio. Actually, on Wednesday, just after we got done with class, I think her name is Angie Miller. She was second runner-up on the last American Idol. She is actually recording right now her album in that studio. There's another girl that was actually in this class, and I'm not going to tell you her name, but she is actually a background singer for J-Lo and some of the major top artists. And she really felt the Lord said that she was supposed to take 5 weeks off to do this class. So she told them, I'm not touring with you for the next 5 weeks. She was, I feel like I'm supposed to do this. Well, the moment she did that, all of a sudden, all of this favor and all kinds of these meetings started happening. They're actually she's going to be recording her first own solo, and it sounds like they're actually going to do it right at Radiance. She's talked to her people. This is where I want to record it. She's also written songs for Miley Cyrus. She's written songs for, just top people. So she's singer, songwriter, and just in love with Jesus. Really, it's pretty amazing. And just to see what's being awakened in the industry, and that's, as many of you know, that was the life that Renee and I came out of. That was part of our testimony, part of who we are, and that God just bringing us back in to be a voice that would bring encouragement, that would bring strength, that would just bring that prophetic flow, that they can be prophetic, they can be supernatural, and right where God's called them. Yes. It's pretty amazing. On the first day, it was really cool, because on the first day, so Renee and I share our testimony during the first session. And there's this girl that showed up because one of her friends, she's just taken notice of him, like how he's changed over the last year and a half. She shows up and hears our testimony because he said, hey, these ones have been in the fashion industry. She was like, oh, okay, I'll come and listen. By the end of the session on Monday, she gets saved. She gives her heart to Jesus. And she's a top designer for the hip hop industry. She's got Kara Craig, I'll just say it because you're going to see her name anyway. Kara Craig is her name, and she's a top designer. She gets whacked by the goodness of God. We prophesy over her and just begin to speak destiny. She gets saved and brought into the kingdom. Come on, Jesus.
There's power in the testimony. Never stop testifying of God's goodness. It's not only the time that you got saved, but it's ongoing. Testify, testify, testify.
Yeah, Kara Craig is actually her name. Yeah. And I had a word of knowledge, Care Bear. And everyone looks at me with a blank stare, and I thought, huh. nah, I feel like Cara Bear. And she goes, well, my name's Cara. I said, then you're Cara Bear. And I just released the love of God. She physically experienced the presence of Jesus, and that's what just said, I got to jump into this. And as I'm holding her hand, she starts to sweat and she starts to shake. And then she calls her mom back in Australia and says, Mom, I got Jesus. And she's like, well, what do you mean by that? And then whatever. So just kind of cool. Yeah. Anyway, it's fun what God's doing. When a heart gets awakened, what happens when you bring someone into that place of encounter and they encounter the goodness and the love of Jesus, things just happen. Things change rapidly.
She testified that she had to go home and start emailing all these people that she felt like she hadn't really thanked for being in her life. Like, a heart's encounter. When she went back and she just felt like, wow, this the success I've had in my life, and how many people have I not just stopped and thanked? And so she said she took hours and just went back and just did simple thank yous and emailed and Facebooked, and it was just like, well, and then she's like, and then I felt this kind of weird presence in my apartment. I was just like, get out in Jesus' name. I'm like, wow.
So she's immediately in spiritual warfare because she felt kind of this evil thing, and she was just listening to conversation, of course, and yeah, it was pretty amazing. Just going for it.
So it's happening quickly. Like, God is encountering people, and the work he's doing is rapid. And what's being cultivated here is no small thing. Like, we got to realize what we have right in our midst, we never want to take for granted. And we never want to just get so used to this that it's like this is exciting. So many people are coming and they're encountering Jesus. It's all around us. It's everywhere. And it's so exciting. And it's being cultivated here. We have a culture, a community that just does this naturally, supernatural, naturally.
It's good.
It's so good. So it's just so fun. So it is impacting, like, it impacts everywhere we go. And so everyone loved when we told them about mobile global presence. They were like, keep that going. Keep the mobile going. Like, even when we get a building, we'll still always be mobile global presence.
Hey, is Brad still here? Brad, he's still around?
Brad.
Is he in?
Brad in the house?
Brad just gave his life back to Jesus back here a little bit ago.
Where's Brad?
Is he?
Woohoo!
That's all right. Well, if he's not here, that's all right. But anyway, I mean, that's just cool. I mean, he was literally in here having an encounter with the Lord. I mean, that's just the fruit of going out. And we've seen this week, the last several weeks, just God's kindness being poured out upon people, from the Capitol steps to down at James Madison Park doing baptisms. And so it's amazing.
Yeah.
So,
was there anything else about the class, or? Yeah, did you want to share? I mean, when we activated people, they want to learn how to operate in the prophetic within the industry, just learning to prophesy. So we activated them in being able to hear God's voice and release it to people. So it was a big part of, no, that's no small thing, because the prophetic voice must go forth in Hollywood and through the movies and through the industry.